So, let's talk about something that isn't here yet. What we're about to dive into isn't some new malware you'll find out in the wild today. No, this is a look into the very near future. It's a really important and frankly necessary conversation about the next big leap in cyber attacks. And trust me, it's a leap that could change everything. Now, all of this comes from a really forward-thinking analysis by the cybersecurity team at vCISO. You should think of this less as a blaring fire alarm for today and more as an urgent call to debate what's coming just over the horizon and, why we need to start getting ready for it now. And this quote from their analysis, man, it just nails it. We are not talking about just another tool or a new vulnerability here. The shift we're about to explore is a total, fundamental change in the very architecture of how cyber attacks are built, managed, and unleashed. So what is this big shift, really? Well, it's the move from the kinds of human-operated attacks we see today to a completely new model, one where an AI acts as a sort of cognitive sidekick to the attacker, completely rewriting the rules of the game. Okay, first up, decision-making. Right now, as you see on the left, everything relies on a human. Even with the most advanced malware, that final call, when to pivot, what to hit next, that's a person. But with Malware-AI, over on the right, all those moment-to-moment decisions get handed off to an automated system. This frees up the human operator to think about the big picture, the grand strategy. And then there's the learning capability. Right now, attack campaigns learn at, well, a human pace. Operators share what they've learned, and maybe those improvements get rolled into the next campaign. With Malware-AI, the system learns from every single victim continuously and in real time. It's optimizing its tactics on the fly, which means every machine it compromises makes the entire attack network smarter instantly. And all of this, of course, leads to a mind-blowing change in speed. Human delay is the biggest bottleneck in attacks today. Decisions can take hours, sometimes days. With an AI calling the shots, that decision time just collapses. We're talking about going from days of careful analysis to just a few minutes. The whole operation just goes into hyperdrive. To really get a feel for the impact here, we've got to look at it through a classic cybersecurity model, the cyber kill chain. This model breaks down an attack into separate phases. But with AI in the mix, the timeline for that whole chain is about to get completely crushed. This slide just lays it all out perfectly. Just look at that first phase, reconnaissance. It goes from days of manual poking and prodding down to minutes as the AI just automatically scans and scores targets. Or check out weaponization, building the actual attack. That drops from days to hours. As you go down the list, you see that at every single stage, the attacker's decision loop gets faster and faster, shrinking the defender's window to react to almost zero. So the whole point here is that this new architecture gives the attacker a totally new kind of edge. The vCISO team has a great name for it, cognitive ROI. Let's break down what that actually means. Cognitive return on investment sounds complicated, but it's really pretty simple. It's all about efficiency. It's how much strategic advantage you get for every bit of thinking you put in, whether that thinking comes from a human brain or an algorithm. For an attacker, this is the holy grail, right? They want to get the biggest possible impact with the least amount of effort. And here's an example from the source that just makes this concept crystal clear. Picture this. A human analyst takes 3 days to analyze a victim's network. An AI assistant does the exact same job in 30 minutes. That's not just a little better. That is a 100 times multiplier in cognitive ROI. All of a sudden, a single operator can have the impact of what used to take an entire team. Okay, so this massive shift in capability forces us to ask some really, really tough questions. The vCISO analysis isn't just a tech forecast, it's a call to action, built around the critical issues we just aren't talking about enough as an industry. First off, the problem of attribution. Forensic analysis usually looks for human mistakes, patterns, little breadcrumbs. But if the second-by-second decisions are made by an AI, what tracks are left? Who do you even blame? And then we have to ask about our defenses. Our foundational frameworks, things like NIST and MITRE ATTN, they were all built for human speed attackers. What happens when an entire attack campaign unfolds in minutes instead of weeks? Are those playbooks still going to work? This also just blows up the economics of cybersecurity. Security budgets are all based on a certain calculation of risk and cost. But what happens when the cost for an attacker to hit one more target drops to practically nothing? How do we justify our defensive spending when the entire financial equation gets flipped on its head? And then you get into this legal and ethical minefield. I mean, if an attacker just uses a regular, off-the-shelf commercial AI to run their attack, who's responsible? Is it the attacker? The company that built the AI? We are so not prepared for these questions. And really, all of this boils down to one huge pressing question. Are we going to be proactive and start talking about this now? Or are we just going to sit back and wait for some catastrophic event to force our hand? Because as the vCISO team so powerfully puts it, once this becomes our reality, the conversation is going to change completely. The question won't be how do we respond, it'll be why didn't we start talking about this when we had the chance? And this is the key, right? This conversation can't just happen between cybersecurity experts. As you can see here, it needs to involve everyone, from corporate boards and government regulators to researchers at universities and other industry groups. This is a societal challenge, not just a tech problem. At the end of the day, this whole analysis was meant to kickstart a debate. The vCISO team has laid out the game board and asked the first tough questions. So now the conversation is open to all of us, and they leave us with the real challenge. What critical questions would you add to this discussion?